speech rights are under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Free speech rights are under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Civil rights are under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we want? Drop the charges. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
Drop the charges.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want? Drop the charges. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Drop the charges. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Drop the charges. When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want? Drop the charges. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
Drop the charges.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Drop the charges.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Drop the charges.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Drop the charges.
When do we want it?
Now.
After the hearing.
Sisters and brothers, thank you so much for being out here today. What we're doing is so important. Standing with Carlos Montes, a man who has contributed so much to the struggle for self-determination and liberation in this country. He's a 40-year veteran of the Chicano Latino movement, and he has consistently stood up for everything right, and what the government is doing here today is completely wrong. The reality is that Carlos's case is closely linked to the subpoenas and FBI raids that have took place in the Midwest. I think all of you know that Carlos was listed on a search warrant to the Twin Cities Anti-War Committee offices. He is in fact the 24th person involved in this case. And we view the defense of Carlos Montes as the leading edge, as the most important aspect of saying no to the repression of anti-war and international solidarity activists at this time. And I just want to assure you that while you're here today, people across the United States are engaging in events. They're doing phone calls to Obama and Holder. And across the U.S. in the weeks and months ahead, there's going to be protests, there's going to be events, there's going to be speaking tours. We are going to do everything in our power to see that there is justice for Carlos Montes, and justice for Carlos Montes means that all these charges be dropped. We insist on it, we'll raise our voices again and again. Let's hear it. Drop the charges against Carlos Montes now! Drop the charges now!
Drop the charges now! Drop the charges now! Drop the charges now! Drop the charges now! Drop the charges now! Drop the charges now! Drop the charges now!
One person who is fighting for more schools, for peace in our communities, for against police brutality, when somebody who's fighting the good fight and really supporting various community members is imprisoned for this, or is looked down upon, and is repressed, their house is broken down by the sheriff's SWAT team at 5 in the morning, and this type of scare tactic is totally unacceptable. And it really is really important for people to realize that, it could be my dad, Carlos Montes, on May 17th a few months ago, today, but really it could be any of us who speak out for those who are facing injustice, or who speak out for education, or who speak out for human rights in general. And so this is really important for us to come out now and say we will not accept this, so that it doesn't happen to more of our community activists, of our community organizers, right? And to really come out to be able to make this happen.
I would tell people, you know what, I may be repressed or locked up, but I'm with you, support me, but also I want people to say, continue struggling for justice and equality and democracy and self-determination. I would tell people, you know what, I may be put away, but you're outside, you can continue the fight against these wars.
Drop the charges now! 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 Drop the charges now!